and we're back with the American Doofus Show. I'm your host, Barry Welsh. What's your name, sir?
My name is Davon Taylor.
Davon, and we're talking in the Square, Louisville, Kentucky. Give me a little something about Breonna Taylor.
I personally didn't know Breonna Taylor, but based on the history that I've received from my news station and from other people, Breonna Taylor was, I believe, 26 years old when she was murdered, and her birthday was in June, if I'm not mistaken, June or July, where she turned 27, and also, if you all didn't know, Breonna Taylor was murdered by a police officer, and there was some forgery on a police report and different things like that, and then the judge signed off on the warrant, which caused Breonna Taylor's death.
And you're a journalist, is that correct?
I am.
Who do you work with?
I work for a news station in Louisville, but I prefer not to.
That's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. A little something about David McAtee.
I didn't know David McAtee either, but I do know that David McAtee on the night that he got shot, I wasn't out there, but I had just left before he was killed. And David McAtee, I do know that he was a community leader. He always fed the homeless people, different things like that. On, I believe, 26th and Broadway, that is where it is, at the Nino's gas station. He was shot by a member of the National Guard and a couple members of the police force. His funeral was at St. Stephen's Church. I don't remember the exact date, but it was a beautiful service. And yes.
And what in your heart makes you come out here day after day doing what you're doing?
I'm out here because one, and most of all, I want change, not necessarily for me, but for the generation behind me. So it all starts with us. When we are out here making our voices heard, that's when change happens. Of course, I would like to see change happen now, but of course, change may happen when I'm dead and gone, So at the end of the day, I have a niece who's 5 years old, and I don't want her to be the next Breonna Taylor. I don't want my cousin to be the next David McAtee. I don't want my cousins to be the next Trayvon Martin. I don't want to see anybody in my family have to go through this same thing. And I mean, my dad got beat up by the police. He told me I didn't see it, but he told me that was a very scary incident for him. And I was watching something today that came in my news feed of police officers suffocating a man. I don't know if anybody saw that. But yeah, they gave this man, he was having a seizure, and they tied him to an electric chair, and they covered his mouth with I believe a spit mask. And they held it really tight against his face, and they basically suffocated him, and then they tased him, and after he died, they tried to do CPR and things like that, but of course they couldn't bring him back because of the lack of oxygen to his brain. So I mean, ultimately, I just feel like police officers, they do things and they think about it after it's already done.
And it seems like it's not, it's different here in Louisville. There's a different vibe in Louisville than there is in other places in the country. But at the same time, it's going on all over the place. Elijah McClain in Aurora, Colorado, a young black man just coming home, had a mask on, a violin player, a beautiful soul. And then people do a tribute to him with a violin concert, and they come in with riot gear. And
I mean, even
it's like today, a couple of days ago, they pulled over this lady. She's a cop with her uniform on.
I saw that. I'm going to do something about that. I'm going to do something about that.
And gave her, she's not from here.
Right. She was in Alabama, I believe. Yeah, she was worked for the customs agent.
Yeah. She was
a
over
federal
them.
police officer.
She was top over them. They was mad.
And they were running the gears on her.
Yeah. So enough is enough with this shit. We're tired of it.
And you're one of the gentlemen down here cooking all the time.
Yeah.
I recognize you from Maxwell's live feeds, from Jason's live feeds. Thank you for what you're doing down here for the community and for fighting for justice. We appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
My pleasure. Let's do.
And I mean, ultimately, this is the last thing I'll say.
No, take your time,
mate. It seems like you know, the innocent souls get hurt, you know? Like Breonna Taylor was an EMT. The individual that you all were just talking about was a police officer. And who knows? Who else knows? Trayvon Martin was just a student, you know?
Yeah.
But, I mean, you know, just because of our skin color, our skin color shouldn't be a threat. You know what I'm saying? Our skin color should be a enhancement. It should be an embracement to the community. And don't get me wrong. There are very intelligent people who are African American. One person I can name is what's his name? Oh God, his name was in my.
We are live. We are outside,
head.
so we're going to have some background noise. Apology about that.
I'm trying to think. He is. What is his name? He's the guy with the peanut butter and the light. He was African American, and a lot of people. I can't think of his name right now, but he was African.
George Washington Carver.
Yes, George Washington Carver. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes. He was African American, and he was very intelligent, and like me, I am a college student who has a 3.66 GPA, but to the police, I'm a threat. You know what I'm saying? So, you can't go off what you see just because of my skin color. You can't say that I'm a bad person, because at the end of the day, you may think that I'm a bad person, or you may have your stereotypes about African American people. But if I never tell you, you would never know that I'm a 3.66 student.
No, if you don't
never know that.
Yeah.
You would think that I'm a gang. And I heard this lady tell us like these gang. Wait, and now I have to say this too. I'm sorry.
No, take your time. That's the good thing about this platform.
When we have a leader who basically condones this behavior, it makes it hard on us. So this is what I tell everybody in every interview that I do. It is imperative. If you want change, you have to vote. It's okay. We can stand on this corner all day and say Breonna Taylor, David McAtee, Tyler Gerv. We can say that all day, every day. But if you don't vote, if you don't get that person that is the source of all this energy out of the White House, then that's a problem, because stuff like this happens. And let me show you how I know. This is statistical. Let me show you. If you go back to when Barack Obama, and I'm just using him for example, when you go back to Barack Obama and when he was president, look at how many police brutality things happen compared to now, because we have a president that calls us thugs, and we have presidents that calls us mosquitoes, and we have presidents that calls us pesticides and all this stuff. This is how he refers to black people. And you have to think about something that a lot of people don't understand is when you hear something so much, it starts to become a part. Like if I just sit here and say you're dumb, and I always put that in your head that you're dumb, you're going to start to believe that you're dumb.
And more important, everybody around that is hearing you is going to believe that I'm dumb.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's just, and that's the thing too, like, I don't think President Trump or people who support President Trump understands that this is a chain reaction. It all starts in the White House. From the White House, it goes down to Congress. From Congress, it goes down to the people. From the people, it goes down to the police officers. From the police officers, it goes down to the people. From the people, it goes down to the people's children. From the people's children, it goes to their children's children. So you have to think about, it's a constant change. And let me say something too. Racism isn't something that's natural.
You're not born with it.
Racism is something that is taught. Like, I will never forget this ever. One day when I was driving my car and my niece was in the back seat, and you know, we had our Disney music playing because we ride to Disney music all the time. And this Caucasian descent girl on the school bus, you know, put her hand on the window and was like waving to her, and her mom said, no. And I said, oh my God. This lady just spanked her daughter because she was waving at a black person.
Yeah.
Like, do you
It's
know,
nuts,
that upset me so bad. I said, I wanted to roll my window down and call her all kind of B words and H, but I didn't do that because I don't feed into stereotypes of black people, because, you know, white people already think, well, some white people already think that we're ghetto, ratchet, you know, all that other stuff. So therefore I don't feed into stereotypes. But yes, that like hurt my feelings really bad too. And just to see that happening now, well, no, that was a couple years ago. This was a couple years ago. I can only imagine how it is now.
Well, we see it on YouTube.
Yes.
You know, we see the hate.
Yes.
And we got to get over that. We got to
Yes.
we got to somehow bridge that.
And I encourage every white person, and this is not something that I'm just telling you, but I encourage every white person to get one black friend, even if it's one. Get one black friend, because you can learn so much.
I do the same thing.
Yeah, you
I
can
do
learn
the same
so much
thing.
from an African. And not even that, like, my thing is, you give me knowledge, I give you knowledge.
Absolutely.
The black saying is, if you scratch your back, if you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. That's the black saying. I hear that all the time. If you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
We have conversations.
Yes.
We have conversations like this.
Yes.
We find out
Yes.
that we have a lot more in common
than a lot of people think.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So
and it's not done.
Yes.
It's not done. And with the internet, we can do
Yes.
it. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, we can reach out. Hey, Facebook,
Yeah.
man, would you be my friend?
Yeah.
Would you give me some knowledge on
And I
on
tell
what
everybody
you're...
this too. It's just like, don't get a friend who's not willing to learn. Like, don't do that. Like, if you're, for instance, me and you, if you're Caucasian and I'm black and you're not willing to learn anything from me about my race, and I'm not willing to learn anything about your race, like, we're not gonna get it.
Wasting
Like,
time.
and literally, I'm not lying to you. Like, I'm the most friendly, diverse friend that a lot of people has, because I have white friends. I just hung out with him yesterday. I have a white friend. I have black friends. I have Asian friends. I have Cuban friends. I have Mexican friends. I have Vietnamese friends. I have Puerto Rican friends. I have a lot of friends and I always ask, and I love trying different things. I don't go around mong ching tong ching tong tong tong. I don't do that. But I mean, I do ask them, how do I correctly speak Chinese? Ni hao, shamaniza, mo jiao. I know that. Hello, how are you? Or hello, my name is. Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Awesome.
How are you?
Yeah.
Like, I learned so
Muy
much
bien.
stuff.
You too.
Yeah, just like I never knew. Like, one of my friends told me this, and again, that's why you need to surround yourself with friends. I never knew that Cubans and Mexicans spoke two different languages. Did y'all know that?
Yeah.
Like, they speak Spanish, but it's two different dialects of
different
Spanish.
dialects.
I never knew that. I always thought everybody was hola, ¿cómo estás? Bien, ¿y tú? Like, just always thought it was that. Like, so it's always like, that's why you have to be willing to learn, and you have to have diverse friends, because what you think, because again, that stereotype of me thinking all Cubans and Mexicans spoke the same Spanish. My friends were like, hey, no, we speak two different things of Spanish.
You can't judge a book
Yeah.
by its cover.
Yeah.
And you can't find out what's in the book
Yeah.
until you open it up
Until
and
you
start
open it
reading it. And it's just like you can't make judgments on people
Yeah.
until you sit down and talk with them. And that's one of the reasons I'm doing the show that I'm doing, is to show people that, you know, hey, we're in a very dangerous time.
We are.
We're in a very dangerous time, and the more we try to understand each other, the more chance we're going to have peace and not destruction.
And like you said, like, we're in a dangerous time, and if anything, if we need each other more than, like, I will never forget the song that Michael Jackson made, We Are the World, We Are the Children. We got to be in this together, because if my black friend is killing my white friend because he don't like white people, and the black people killing the white people because they don't like each other, and the white people killing the black people because they don't like each other, in a couple years, it's not gonna be none of us here, because we killing each other.
And how can
Well,
we,
I'm just saying, you know, like, as an example.
How can we
But,
know we don't like each other if we don't ever talk to
and like,
each other?
we out here killing each other, and like terrorism attacks and stuff like that are happening. We destroying our own stuff. You know how dinosaurs you know how dinosaurs are extinct? In a couple years, I believe that humans are gonna be extinct, because if we don't come together and we don't get on one accord and we don't fight for what is right. There's a difference between fighting for what's right and fighting what you believe is right.
Amen.
It's a difference between what I believe is right and what is right. Like, what I believe is right is all my mental. What I know is right is in my heart.
Amen.
So you have to know what the difference is, and we need to come together and we need to fight. We need to, I mean, if you're a racist and you know that racism is wrong, change your life. Change it. Because at the end of the day, if you go out as a Caucasian person and you were a racist and you say, man, I was a racist, but I have a black friend now and I've learned stuff, that's gonna make somebody else think like, wow, maybe I need a black friend.
I did one of my episodes was on the NFAC and on Grandmaster Jay. And I started the episode out, I said, I just want to say I'm sorry to people of color for what happened to your cultures, to all communities of color, you know, because the cultures have been damaged at best and destroyed at worst. And people of color's cultures have impacted my life in positive manners. How much more positive could have been had those cultures not been destroyed? And the fact that I just said I'm sorry, even though I didn't have anything to do with it, it goes a long way. If white people just search their soul a little bit and understand that, you know, hey, it's not about the pigment of our skin. It's about what's in our heart.
And like I tell everybody too, this is the last thing I'll say and I'll let you go. But like I love talking about stuff like this. But like a lot of people fail to realize too, I didn't choose to be black. Like I have to tell a lot of people that. Don't get me wrong, I love being black. Being black is the bomb. Like I love my hair. You see my hair is curly. I love being black. I love my black trends, my black glasses. I love being black. I love my hair. I love how tall I stand.
You should.
I love the color of my skin. I love that I got that natural melanin. I'm glad that I don't have to I'm glad my hair moisturizes. I love being black. But at the same time, I didn't choose to be black. So you can't hate me for something that I didn't choose.
Amen.
I didn't choose to be black. I love being black, but I didn't choose to be black.
Yeah.
God wanted me to be black.
Yeah.
So, and my thing is, this is another thing I'll say too. This is the last thing I promise. But don't be out here saying, oh, I believe God and this and this and this. Like I hate, because I met my first racist Christian ever. And I had to tell them, do you know that in the Bible, God says that he made of one blood? Not two, not white and black, one.
Right.
One.
Yeah.
Because we all come from God.
Yeah.
So don't be out here like, oh, I love God, this and this and this, and you out here being racist.
All right. I appreciate it, my brother.
Yes.
Thank you very much,
You're
my
welcome.
man.